So the other day, I don't know, is it still going on? I'm not exactly sure, but they did the Davos conference, the World Economic Forum thing, where, just to sum that up for everybody, the biggest douchebags on the planet all get together and suck each other off about how special they are. I mean, that's the gist of it, right? You have celebrities, you have businessmen, you have politicians, you have billionaires, you have all these people get together and say, how are we going to save the world, good sir? Let me tell you my brilliant ideas to save the world, because it's all about me and my brilliance. This is what they do. Now, the little known fact about the World Economic Forum, though, is what it truly is. It is a status quo protection racket. That's what it is. These are the most powerful people in the world. They don't actually want things to change. They love the system as it is. They love this hyper-capitalist, oligarchic, corrupt mess of a global system because they make a tremendous amount of money in this system, and they don't want to give up any money. They don't want to give up any power. But what they do is, it's basically a virtue signal fest. Hey, we're so special. We made it to the top in this free market, this fair race that's going on, right? This meritocracy. We made it to the top, but now we'll give you the ideas as to how we can improve the world. And that's where you hear, a lot of right-wing conspiracy theorists say, they're communists, they're Marxists, they want to change everything, and they want to implement global governance or whatever. Nonsense. All they're doing is virtue signaling about how much they'll help everybody and everything while they try to protect the status quo. Okay. Well, in step, the new president of Argentina, Javier Milei. Now, this guy, in his own words, is an anarcho-capitalist. What is an anarcho-capitalist? Ayn Rand. It's this idea that the height of liberation and freedom is total, unfettered, laissez-faire, free market capitalism, where the capitalist, the business owner, basically gets to treat their employees like property. It's total freedom for the industrialist and no freedom at all for the worker. That's what he supports. And by the way, since he's taken over in Argentina, inflation is through the roof. It's over 200%. It's up over 200%. Protests have now been banned. Well, so much for freedom, right? If you protest his government, that's not allowed. He laid off thousands of government workers. And there was a story that came out the other day. People are now, in some places in Argentina, dumpster diving to eat because he gutted the social safety net. Some of those things include meals for poor people. And now they're struggling to find enough food to survive. So here's his, utopian style system. Well, he comes out, and in his speech, it's hilarious because people on the right are portraying this as like, Javier Milei stands up to the elites in Davos. He calls them out to their face. I read the entire speech. Nothing could be further from the truth. It is the whole speech is, let me give a warm, smooth, oily hand job to Klaus Schwab and all of these billionaire assholes. It's, you guys are special. You guys are amazing. You guys are the answer. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Your poop doesn't stink. It actually smells like roses, and I love it. This was his whole speech. So at one point in his speech, he says, quote, communists, Nazis, fascists, socialists, social democrats, national socialists, Christian Democrats, Keynesians, neo-Keynesians, progressives, populists, nationalists, globalists. In the end, there is no substantive difference. In other words, you're all the same. You're all the same. I, the anarcho-capitalist, am a true believer in individualism and freedom. And every other ideology is bad and wrong and statist and collectivist and evil. Guys, I'm not kidding when I say this guy is the living embodiment of the 14-year-old virgin Ayn Rand reader who read Atlas Shrugged once and then said, this is my life philosophy is this. This is right about everything. Never read any other books, philosophical, economic, or otherwise. Reads one Ayn Rand book and goes, bro, what if, selfishness was moral, bro? Have you considered that? What if altruism is actually bad, bro? Have you considered that, bro? He's that guy. So look, I'm going to read you the end of his speech. The whole thing is ridiculous. Guys, go and read the speech. It's literally on the World Economic Forum website. If you read it, you will see the way the right-wing conspiracy theorists are framing it could not be further from the truth. He's not holding elites accountable. He's basically saying, you elites are awesome. You elites are awesome. And these damn lower-income people are parasites. He literally says parasites at one point in the speech. He also says, there is no such thing as a market failure, ever. The market cannot fail. It is only the government that fails. He says there's no such thing as a good regulation. I'm telling you, go read the speech. 14-year-old libertarian virgin boy. 14-year-old libertarian virgin boy. So here, I'm going to read the end part because this encapsulates quite a bit of the absurdity of this speech. He says, "This is how we come to the point where, by using different names or guises, a good deal of the generally accepted ideologies in most Western countries are collectivist variants. Whether they proclaim to be communist, fascist, socialist, social democrats, national socialists, Christian Democrats, neo-Keynesians, progressives, populists, nationalists, or globalists. Ultimately, there are no major differences." There's no major differences between a social democrat. There's no major differences between a progressive and a Nazi, says Javier Milei, world's biggest moron. They all say that the state should steer all aspects of the lives of individuals. Really? I'm pretty sure that's not what every single one of those ideologies says on everything. Jesus Christ. They all defend a model contrary to the one that led humanity to the most spectacular progress in its history. In other words, capitalism. We have come here today to invite the Western world to get back on the path to prosperity. Economic freedom, limited government, and unlimited respect for private property are essentially elements for economic growth. The impoverishment produced by collectivism is not a fantasy, nor is it an inescapable fate. It's a reality that we Argentines know very well. We have lived through this. We have been through this because, as I said earlier, ever since we decided to abandon the model of freedom that had made us rich, we have been caught up in a downward spiral, a spiral by which we are poorer and poorer by the day. There is something we have lived through, and we are here to warn you about what can happen if countries in the Western world that became rich through the model of freedom stay on this path to servitude. All right, let me just pause to point out, when he says freedom, he just means capitalism. That's all he means. He doesn't mean freedom as in self-determination for everybody. He doesn't mean freedom as in freedom from starvation, right? Freedom from want, as FDR would say. He means freedom as in freedom of the business owners to do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, and their workers to be a cog in their machine. The case of Argentina is an empirical demonstration that no matter how rich you may be, how much you may have in terms of natural resources, how skilled your population may be, how educated or how many bars of gold you may have in the central bank, if measures are adopted that hinder the free functioning of markets, competition, price systems, trade, and ownership of private property, the only possible fate is poverty. Therefore, in conclusion, I would like to leave a message for all business people here and those who are not here in person but are following from around the world. Now he's talking to all the business people, all the wealthy, successful business people. Do not be intimidated by the political caste or by parasites who live off the state. What? Do not surrender to a political class that only wants to stay in power and retain its privileges. What? You're talking to a room of people that are trying to stay in power and retain their privileges. You are social benefactors. You are heroes. He's talking to the elite billionaires, the scumbags at Davos. You are the creators of the most extraordinary period of prosperity we've ever seen. Let no one tell you that your ambition is immoral. If you make money, it's because you offer a better product at a better price, thereby contributing to general well-being. 14-year-old libertarian. Do not surrender to the advance of the state. The state is not the solution. The state is the problem itself. You are the true protagonist of this story, and rest assured that as from today, Argentina is your staunch and unconditional ally. Thank you very much, and long live freedom. As I said, whacking off the whole room full of billionaires. Like that's what's going on here. You billionaire elitist goons are all special. You guys are just the most intelligent, the most hardworking, the brilliant ones. That's why you're in this room. And don't let the parasites get you down. Don't let those, workers who are demanding more, don't let them get you down. You're the true heroes of this story. I mean, guys, it's astonishing. I've never seen a bigger disconnect between what this guy actually said in the speech and how the right conspiracy theorists are portraying it. They're acting like he went in there and told Klaus Schwab off to his face. Are you kidding me? He sucked off Klaus Schwab to his face. What are we talking about? And again, the idea, everything good that ever happened was because of capitalism, and everything bad that ever happened was because of collectivism or socialism. Ooh. Well, then why is it, Javier Milei, that some of the most successful, wealthy, and personally happy countries in the world are the social democracies in Scandinavia? So in other words, they have countries with more government intervention. They have, depending on which country you look at in the Scandinavian region, they have free healthcare, they have free college, they have strong labor unions, and they also have some of the highest standards of living in the world. And these are countries that are less capitalistic than the United States, for example. How do you account for that? He would never acknowledge that point. He would never agree to that. He would never accept the reality. Why? Because it flies in his face of the more free market, the better it is. Always, always, always. Really? Well, what about when we had a totally unfettered free market and we had child labor that was rampant? What about when we had no rules associated with work time so that people would work 6 days a week, 7 days a week, some ridiculous number of hours, and they basically wouldn't be able to afford their food for their family and all these things that they need. They live in tenement houses together. What about that? What about that? No, don't look at that, because that, again, blows up this narrative that capitalism gives us everything that's ever been good, ever. Like I said, it also brought us child labor. It also brought us tenement housing. It also brought us the robber baron era. It also brings us tremendous income and wealth inequality. And this guy's up there saying, all you billionaires, all you elites, you're on top for a reason. Never forget that. So he is, again, people fall for the package very easily, right? This package of like, ooh, he sounds anti-establishment. Look, he's got kooky hair and he's got wacky eyes and he like puts on a show. He must be standing up to the elites. No, he is the ultimate elite cocksucker. That's what he is. Don't fall for the package. The substance matters. And the substance here is anarcho-capitalism. And people are about to find out real quick that is not the path to prosperity. Not at all. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.